Well, hello friends. Today I'm going to take you through some old texts of India, that is basically our Puranas, and going to conclusively prove that the Rama Setu exists. Now, to many of you all, it's always been a sort of puzzle to understand whether Ramayana was itself a fiction or whether it was a real story. It's quite difficult to prove, that Ramayana occurred because no one did actually give any conclusive evidence. This video is actually based on my book, which I had written about 5 years ago. It was basically, and the book was called The Rama Setu Rediscovered. Although that book is still available on Amazon, it became imperative for me to drive this point that there is something beyond what we all hear about and what we know about and what people talk about. For many of you, Rama Setu is just basically the little bit of stretch that is present from the tip of India at Rameshwaram up to Sri Lanka. And that's actually a 30-kilometer stretch. And I think so the whole world together feel that 30-kilometer stretch where you can just find a little bit line of few corals, and that's what people think is the actual bridge, and of course it's washed away and not present anymore. And all the theories and all people talking about, I just do not find anybody who could just go beyond the realms of understanding or trying to find out from our scriptures about the Rama Setu exactly as to where it started, how it goes along the pathway all along the bridge, and where it actually goes and ends. So this video is actually correlating what's there, what's written down in our ancient texts, and what we really observe geographically as far as Rama Setu is concerned. Rama Setu is just not actually that little stretch that runs from Rameshwaram tip to Sri Lanka. There's much more of the bridge behind that, and that should surprise you, that if there is a portion of the bridge that is continuing behind, but up to where? So you probably have to keep some patience to understand as to where ultimately the bridge started from and where ultimately it ended. Of course, it did end at Lanka, but that stretch where everybody is searching about the Rama Setu, and they're deep diving into waters, and people are obtaining samples and analyzing that little stretch for years and years and years. If I would tell you that that portion of the bridge, which everyone always tunes and focuses onto, was basically blown away by Lord Ram. If you notice the last tip of India, basically from Rameshwaram, the last tip is called Dhanushya Koti. And one of the places I'll be discussing with you, they are as it is there. What is mentioned in the ancient texts by name, the pathway, is all exactly present today. But it's only that no one knows it. So, when I will again conclusively prove through the verses, all of my research doesn't go beyond what the Puranic texts say.
Okay, now let me tell you about the merits of visiting the Rama Setu. And that's what's mentioned in our scriptures. Now let's go through somewhere a little between, and as I told you, it's from the Skanda Purana, the Brahma Khand. There you have everything mentioned. Now let's hear what Sutta replied to the Brahmanas when they asked for one of the most holiest places on earth. Now you have here Sri Sutta replying, "Your questions are very well put, O Brahmanas, regarding what is conducive to the welfare of the universe. I shall speak out this secret to you. Listen respectfully, O great sages." Okay, now we are moving on to the next pages. This next page, this has never been disclosed to anyone before by me. Having controlled your minds, O eminent Brahmanas, listen with devotion. There is a sacred spot near Rameshwaram in Rama Setu. It is the most excellent one among holy places and tirthas. There is no doubt about it that the moment one sees Rama Setu, one gets liberation from the sea of worldly existence. That devotion either to Hari or Hara will be generated. Well, Hari and Hara means Hari is standing for Lord Vishnu, Hara for Lord Shiva. Okay? Alright, then it continues. That one will have abundance of merit and that the fruit of the three types of karma will be achieved. Listen, O great sages, I shall tell the merit of one who in the course of his life devoutly visits the Setu. Along with 2 crores of generations of his maternal and paternal families, he will enjoy for a kalpa in the company of Shambhu, and thereafter will attain salvation. The dust particles on the earth can be counted, the stars in the firmament can be enumerated, but the merit resulting from a visit to Setu cannot be estimated even by Caesar. So as we keep on understanding the merits of the Rama Setu, it would be rather astounded that they should be worth a visit, because the merits of visiting the Ram Setu seem to be accruing on, and of course if you do bathe in each of those tirthams, many of which I could locate about all the tirthams that are inside the Rameshwaram temple, they are there intact, and all along the way, right from Chakra Tirtham, I could at least find out 70%, 75% of the tirthams. Maybe I couldn't continue my research further. Now, as you again read out here, it is proclaimed in Smritis that it is more meritorious than all the vratas, much greater than all yogas, and more excellent, meritorious than all the tirthas. Okay. If people have eagerness and desire for enjoyment of pleasures in the worlds of Indra and others, O excellent Brahmanas, they must take the holy bath at least once at Setu built by Rama. Let those who have the desire to sport about in the world of Brahma, in Vaikuntha or in Kailasha, the abode of Siva, respectively bathe at Setu. One who desires long life, good health and wealth, super handsomeness and good qualities, mastery of the 4 Vedas with their ancillary subjects, ability to understand all sacred texts or become conversant with all the mantras, should take his bath at Setu, the bestower of all objects. It is true, there is no doubt about it. In this world, those men who are afraid of poverty or falling into hell should take the holy bath at Rama Setu, the bestower of salvation.
All of my research stems from the Skanda Purana, and everything that is present in this video is based on the verses that are mentioned therein. So without wasting much time, I will take you straight away to proving as to where the Rama Setu started and where it ended.
Well, now I'm going to prove you the geographical locations as per our Purana. Now, the pond right now you are seeing on the screen, that is called Chakratirtham, and whatever is written in the center, that's what appears on the Google Earth map.
Now this Chakratirtham is at a place called Tirupulani, which you can also find on the map, and
there is the Adi Jagannath Perumal temple just alongside, and you could see those steps coming down.
This Chakratirtham pond is the first Tirtham mentioned in the Puranas. Basically, it serves as the starting point of the bridge, but on one side. Now, this pond, though today it looks quite small, and there is also an adjoining pond, but the length of this pond in earlier times was much larger, and it extended up to Devi Pattanam, which will shortly appear on your screen. And when it was in an extended version right up to Devi Pattanam, that's many times longer than what you're seeing in this picture, that time this whole stretch and expanse of water, it was named Dharma Pushkarni, and as I said, it extended right up to Devi Pattanam. Now further, as we are moving away from this map, as we are going up in the aerial view, keep an eye on where the Chakratirtham was, and there is something much more that I will let you know about Chakratirtham. Now, that was one side of the bridge. Now, please focus on the encircling, and that point is actually named Devi Pattanam, and it exists with the same name today. Even Chakratirtham at Tirupulani is present with the same name today. Now both these points, that is Chakratirtham and Devi Pattanam, where presently we have the Navagraha temple. Now we can just take a closer look as to where Chakratirtham is, and I'm encircling it once again so that you're able to keep it in your mind map. This Chakratirtham point is also known as Darbashayam. Now, why is it known as Darbashayam? I'll come back to that later. So just keep that point in your mind, and as I am letting you know about the second starting point, and that is here at Devi Pattanam, when Lord Rama started the construction of the bridge. You know, of course, first he stayed at the Chakratirtham, and he lay on a bed of grass, trying to appropriate to the sea god, that is Lord Varuna, requesting him to give a passage for him and his Sena to cross the sea. Now, Devi Pattanam holds its own importance because when he started ultimately building the bridge, you know, the consecration where he offered prayers to Lord Ganesha, and he offered prayers to the 9 planets, and so that place is actually having the Navagraha temple, and those stones are still there, 9 stones. And as you see right now in the picture, that holy meritorious place exists. Now, what do you ultimately conclude? If you could join Devi Pattanam and Chakratirtham as a straight line, you will find 70 kilometers of the bridge remaining.
Okay, friends. Now it's the time for a little bit of proof. Because as I told you, whatever I state here in this video is nothing outside the context of the Puranas. Now, I have always uttered the words of Chakratirtham and Devi Pattana, etc. Now, I would like to just read out some verses. These are translations of the Sanskrit text, and you all can go through the Skanda Purana, the Brahma Khand, and this is from the publication of Gita Press. It's a 1954 edition. All right, now if you're able to just see right now here, it states, now the battle between the goddess and Mahisasura. The sages said, O Sutta, discipline of Dwapayana, O most excellent one amongst those conversant with the Puranas, previously you told us that the excellent Chakratirtha extends up to Devi Pattana. Therefore we ask you something. Indeed, where is that Devi Pattana itself up to which Chakratirtha extends? How did it get the name of Devi Pattana? Of what sort is the merit of those sinners who take their holy bath at Rama Setu as well as Chakratirtha? O most excellent one, among those conversant with the Puranas, describe this as well as other details. Now Sri Sutta replies, I shall describe everything. O leading sages, listen. This narrative is destructive of all sins of those who read and listen. The Lord of Sita, the scion of the family of Raghu, built the first part of the bridge by placing 9 boulders in the sea. That spot is called Devipura, up to which Chakratirtha extends. How it came to be known by the name Devi Pattana, O excellent sages, I shall tell you. Listen with attention. Formerly, all the sons of Diti were slain by Devas in a battle between Devas and Asuras. So she was deeply grief-stricken and bewildered. She spoke those words to her daughter. Now, of course, naturally, it's not possible for me to read the entire thing, but of course, her daughter did a lot of penance, and then ultimately, Mahisasura was born. And of course, during her penance, there was a yogi, who did curse the daughter of Diti that your son will be born with a buffalo face. Now you all know about the Devi Mahisasura war. Now my main purpose is to actually show to you as to how the Chakratirtham came into how Chakratirtham is related to the Mahisasura war. Now, of course, you all know that the main episode of the war between the Devi and Mahisasura is very well exemplified in Markandeya Purana, and of course, so it is part of the Durga Saptashati. Now, if we are going a little bit down, we find that there is a point where, ultimately the verse starts again. After saying this, Devi dealt Mahisasura a blow with her fist. On being struck by Devi, Mahisa became frightened and agitated. He immediately fled to the shore of the southern sea. Riding on a vehicle, the lion, Devi chased him. Thereupon, pursued by Devi Mahisa, the Lord of Danavas entered the waters of Dharma Pushkarni, 10 yojanas in width. Now, when I talked about Dharma Pushkarni and I told you, okay, it extended well up to Devi Pattana, that means now 10 yojanas is actually 10 kilometers as per the time scale then. Now, I will come back again to the kilometers and how long the Rama bridge was. We all know it is 100 yojanas by 10 yojanas. So I will be again proving you that, because as I said, everywhere along the way I will be proving many things. So now, alright, now agitated by the blow of Durga, he remained hidden therein. Then Durga came to the banks of Dharma Pushkarani. But Chandika did not see Mahisasura there. Then an unembodied voice spoke to Goddess Durga. O Bhadrakali, O great goddess Mahisa, the Danava who has been hit by you with the fist has become extremely frightened. O gentle lady, he lies concealed in the waters of Dharma Pushkarni. Slay him, deprive him of his life by some means. On being told thus by the incorporeal voice, Chandika, who was ready to slay the demon, told the lion her vehicle, O king of beasts of leonine valor and excessive strength, let the water of Dharma Pushkarni be drunk up completely by you. On being told thus by Devi, O Brahmanas, the lion drank the entire quantity of water in Dharma Pushkarni so that there was only dust silt left behind. Thereupon the dejected Mahisa came out of the water reservoir. As the Asura approached her, the infuriated Devi placed her foot on the head of the Asura and hit his neck with a spear. Then Devi seized her sword and cut off his huge head. Thus, O Brahmanas, the demon Mahisa was slain by Durga along with his servants, army and vehicles. He fell down on the ground and died. Thereupon Devas, Siddhas, Gandharvas and the great sages eulogized Devi with prayers. They were satisfied and delighted. Permitted by Devi, Devas went to different places in the manner they had come. Then Devi founded an excellent city named after her. The mother of the universe built the city on the northern shore of the southern sea. Thereafter, at the bidding of Devi, Devas headed by Sakra filled Dharma Pushkarni with nectar. Therefore, that excellent Tirtha got the name Amrita Tirtha. Then the Devi who was joyously granted this boon, granted this boon to her city. Let this city be conducive to the welfare of all animals and be free from sickness. To the Tirtha she granted the boon. The men who take their holy bath here shall attain Siddhi in accordance with their desires. After saying thus, she went
to heaven.
The excellent city which Devi built, named after her, is called Devi Pattana. It is the most excellent among all cities. At the very auspicious hour, Rama started from Devi Pattana Brahmanas. At the outset, he bowed down to Vigneshwara Ganesha and the Lord of Waters Varuna. Permitted by Mahadeva, Ramachandra, the highly virtuous one, joyously laid down with his own hand the first 9 boulders. He inaugurated the construction of the Setu of Brahmanas till it was completed up to Lanka. He watched its progress alertly. While watching the progress of the work, Rama occupied a splendid throne made by Nala. Through the monkeys, including Nala, he caused the bridge to be built. Now, as you again go down, you will see in the verse that is coming up, the Setu with a width of 10 yojanas and length of 100 yojanas was built on the sea by Nala. It is highly meritorious and destructive of sins. In Setumala, the root or beginning of the Setu, which is near Devipura and which is of the form of 9 big boulders, one should take holy bath for the purification of his sins. Then he should take bath in Chakratirtha and worship Hari, the overlord of the Setu. Since the bridge construction started at Devi Pattana, O great Brahmanas, that is considered to be the real Setumala. The western extremity of the Setu is well known as Darbasaya. Devipuri is the eastern extremity. Both of them are Setumalas. Both of them have the reputation of being meritorious, sacred and destructive of sins. The pilgrims can go to Setumala by any route whatsoever. The respective pathways shall be the bestower of liberation. They should take the holy bath at the outset in Setumala and Chakratirtha. After performing the requisite rite of Sankalpa, then they should go to Setu Bandhana. O Brahmanas, the holy bath in Devipura, Darbashaya and the auspicious Chakratirtha is meritorious and destructive of sins. In both the places of Brahmanas, if Chakratirtha is remembered, all the sins committed in the course of 100,000 births are destroyed. Birth shall become extinct, salvation shall be within reach. There has never been a Tirtha like Chakratirtha, nor shall there be one like it. Well, now, this is something very important for you. I mean, though we already know about the length of the bridge, that it was 100 yojanas, and many of you would just sit down on calculations to find out, one yojana is 13 kilometers, and so it's 100 yojanas, so it's 1300 kilometers. But you don't need to reach far in those calculations, because as if you read it very closely itself, the answer lies hidden in these verses. As I read the translation over here, on being told thus by Vibhishana, the learned Rakshasa, Raghava pacified all the monkeys and said thus: all the monkeys cannot cross the exceedingly dreadful sea 100 yojanas in width by means of rafts, canoes and boats. Now, do you want me to repeat this line for you? 100 yojanas in width. For them at that point of time, the distance of a yojana was actually 1 kilometer. Although I have proved it to you, through 100 by 10 already. As you go through the video further, you don't need any more questioning as to that, because that's what's being said by Vibhishana here directly, that the distance there was a standing at Chakratirtham, discussing how they have to get across the sea. And ultimately when, Vibhishana advised Rama to pray to the Sea Lord, and accordingly then proceed with anything further that he would want to do. So the answer given by Vibhishana is right here, 100 yojanas. So why do we keep searching out and calculating that how does the yojan of today's calculation can set the things right, and it does lead us to the point or the understanding that this is the Rama Setu. If you still wish to know as to how they could determine the yojana calculation, and why it was said that the distance from Chakratirtham to Lanka was approximately 100 yojanas. If you would still like to know the scientific calculations for yojana at that time, as to why 1 yojana was actually 1 kilometers. Now, it's an extended form of calculation, and of course, that mathematics doesn't seem to be, right now, doesn't seem to be suitable right now for me to explain to all of you. But if you do wish, you can go through my book, and of course, the calculations are taken from the Surya Siddhanta
Well, then, just as a further additive, since I do have to prove a little bit scientifically that the distance from Chakratirtham, where the Adi Jagannatha Perumal temple is present, and right up to the tip of Sri Lanka, the Manar, I'm just calculating the distance directly on Google Maps, and just watch out yourself. You will notice as to how close it is to 100, somewhere just around 99.7 or so. So this is not a calculation done by me, this is a calculation done by Google. So that should set things right as far as the length of the bridge is concerned. Now let us move on to calculating the width of the bridge. There is no doubt, if you see the overall picture of the bridge, that there has been corrosion over the years. Let me tell you that the Ramayana occurred at the end of the Treta Yuga. Now, as far as yugas are concerned, you must know that we have the Satya Yuga first, then we have the Treta Yuga, then we have the Dwapar Yuga, and then we have the Kali Yuga. Now, we are presently in the Kali Yuga, and supposedly around 5,000 years have passed, because Kali Yuga begins with the passing away of Lord Krishna after the Mahabharata war. But Ramayana, which occurred in the end of Treta Yuga, and here we have Mahabharata occurring at the end of the Dwapar Yuga. So there is nearly a difference of a yuga. And as what experts opine, that there is only a difference of 2,000 years between Mahabharata and Ramayana, that supposedly is not correct, and I would be again revealing the time scale of Ramayana through the Puranic text. And as I told you, there is nothing out of context, and you will be able to understand the time frame as to when Ramayana occurred. Now, of course, due to this long period of time which stretches into lakhs of years, there has to be corrosion, and that is what is being noticed. And so, to our best of our abilities, we can use a bit of assumptions. But what should give us solace that the width of the bridge is 10 kilometers, because if you have listened to the earlier part of the video, that the length of the Dharma Pushkarni lake, presently it has reduced down to Chakratirtham, but it is clearly mentioned that the length of the Dharma Pushkarni lake, which stretches from Chakratirtham to Devi Pattanam, is 10 yojanas. And that's it. I mean, it already gives you the distance between Chakratirtham and Devi Pattanam as 10 yojans. So, without much further ado, I mean, it's directly construed that we are on the correct track with the Valmiki Ramayana. But then also, I have made a scientific overview to you by proving that the midpoint of the bridge is just touching 10 kilometers. So, whichever way you would like to prove it, whether directly from the writings of the Puranic text, or whether we do the scientific calculation on the Google map, they just turn out to be the same. So it's just left to your opinion which calculation would be suitable for you to understand, and both are absolutely matching each other.
Now, as I had pointed out, the last step of Rameshwaram is actually Dhanushakoti, and that too is all mentioned in our text as the last point, where the Tirtham was made. Of course, why did he destroy the bridge from there? Because he never made any Tirthams anywhere further, because of course he had those superior instincts that ultimately he is going to blow up his bridge from Dhanushakoti to Lanka. So now, again, as I said, this is already mentioned. Now we go to the, again, the Sanskrit verse that is mentioned here. And what this translation now tells you, of course, the Sanskrit verse is also there for you to read. The noble soul Raghava, being there at Gandhamadana, the slayer of Ravana, was requested with folded hands by the Dharma conversant Vibhishana. By this Setu of yours, Lord Rama, all superior kings in power may come and harass me. Hence, please break the Setu with the tip of your bow. Hence, being requested by the descendant of Paulastya Vibhishana, the Scion of Raghuresh destroyed his bridge with the tip of his bow. That point came to be known as Dhanushakoti Tirtha. So, surprisingly, we are all searching from the bridge from there onwards till Sri Lanka, but the truth is not over. And as I said, the bridge does exist behind Dhanushakoti for nearly 70 kilometers. Now, as I have told you that in our ancient texts, these tirthas are all mentioned and most of them are very well present. But many don't know that these tirthams, which are present on the bridge and are part of the bridge, and it's mentioned, and again I'm reading out the translation from this excellent book released by Gita Press about around 70 years ago. Now, as you can read it here, O Brahmanas, the construction of Setu has been recounted. Now, there are many meritorious tirthas here. Even Sisa is incapable of counting all of them and telling the names, but I shall describe a few of those tirthas. Now, why were there many tirthas before there? Because as I told you, there was the Gandhamadana mountain in the middle of the sea before the Setu was constructed. And that was a highly meritorious mountain. And Gandhamadana mountain became part of the bridge because, of course, the bridge went through it. The Gandhamadana mountain is still present as a little hillock in Rameshwaram. And since you now know about it, if any time you visit Rameshwaram, you will be able to identify Gandhamadana mountain with what I have talked to you about just now. And now as it continues here, in the main there are 24 tirthas at Setu. The first one is Chakra Tirtha, I've already talked about you. Then is Vetal Varada. Of course, there is a route to follow. As it is mentioned there, you're supposed to, from Darvash, from Devi Patnam at the Navagraha temple, you're supposed to move to Chakra Tirtham, then bathe in the Chakra Tirtham and take all the merits that accrue from the, when you bathe there and that Navagraha as well as Chakra Tirtham, and then you move forward and you first meet with Vetal Varada, and then is the Tirtha named Papa Vinasa, which is famous in all the worlds. Then is the meritorious Sita Saras and Mangala Tirtha. Then thereafter is the Tirtha named Amrita Vapika, which is the destroyer of all sins. Beyond that is the Tirtha Brahmakunda, and thereafter the Tirtha pool of Hanuman. Thereafter is Agastya Tirtha, Rama Tirtha is beyond that. Then Lakshmana Tirtha and Jata Tirtha is beyond it. Beyond it is the great Tirtha of Lakshmi, and Agni Tirtha is further beyond that. Away from it is the meritorious Chakra Tirtha. There is one more Chakra Tirtha inside Rameshwaram temple now. And beyond it is Siva Tirtha. Then is the Tirtha. Now these are mostly moving on to Tirthams that are well present inside the Rameshwaram temple also. So away from it is the meritorious Chakra Tirtha, and beyond it is Siva Tirtha. Then is the Tirtha named Sankhya, and Yamuna Tirtha is beyond it. Ganga Tirtha is further away, and Gaya Tirtha is the next one. Beyond it is the Tirtha called Koti Tirtha, and thereafter is the Amrita Tirtha of the Satyas. Beyond it is the Tirtha named Manasa, and Dhanushya Koti is further. The bridge's existence that was always in controversy has been conclusively proved. It's a blessing that Lord Rama has left behind for us to feel, touch and walk on. The meritorious benefits and the sight of the holy bridges for all to experience. This video realigns your faith in that supreme being who walked the earth once, Shri Rama. So get ready to take a walk to glory.